The siren exploded through Ridgewater High just minutes before the last bell, and Elias Marrow froze as the hallway lights flickered above him. The intercom cracked with a voice trying too hard to stay calm, ordering a full lockdown, telling every student to get into the nearest room. Elias stumbled into classroom 2A where his friend Leora Dane grabbed his arm, whispering that something felt wrong, that the principal's voice didn't sound like the principal at all. The teacher locked the door, switched off the lights, and told everyone to sit on the floor and stay silent. But silence didn't stay for long. From the hallway came footsteps, slow, dragging, uneven, like someone walking with one shoe missing. Leora leaned closer to Elias and mouthed, "Nobody should be out there." Everyone knew that during lockdown drills the hallways stayed empty, but this wasn't a drill. The footsteps paused right outside their door, and something scraped the glass panel. Elias could see the shape of fingers sliding across the window, long and thin, leaving streaks as if coated in black dust. The teacher held her breath. Everyone did. The figure outside leaned its face toward the glass, but the hallway was too dark to reveal anything except a pale blur. Then it whispered something so faint Elias wasn't sure he heard it correctly. "Let me in. I hear you breathing." And every student pressed their hands over their mouths, even though none of them had made a sound. The knob rattled violently, then stopped as suddenly as it started. The footsteps dragged away, slow and unsteady, until they vanished into the building's far wing. That was the moment Elias realized the lockdown wasn't because of a human intruder. That was only the beginning. When the intercom finally spoke again, the voice claimed the situation was under control, but the voice wasn't the principal's. It repeated phrases in the wrong order and ended sentences with strange static pops like someone choking on their breath. The teacher tried calling the office, but her phone displayed only one message. "Stay where you are." It sees movement. Nobody knew who sent it. Leora whispered that she saw something earlier in the hallway before the siren, something standing in the corner near the trophy case, tall, motionless, facing the wall. She thought it was a student until she noticed its arms were too long, and its back rose and fell like it was breathing too fast, too deep. Elias wanted to think she imagined it. But then the lights flickered again, and the temperature dropped so quickly that Elias could see his own breath. Another lockdown announcement echoed through the speakers, but this time the voice whispered the names of 3 students in their class, slowly, like it was calling roll. One of those names was Leora's. She squeezed Elias's hand so tightly he felt her nails dig into his skin. Something moved in the air vents above them. A crawling sound. Soft, skittering, fast. The teacher shined her phone flashlight upward and immediately turned it off, covering her mouth before she screamed. In the vent was an eye staring down at them, wide, glassy, and reflecting light like an animal caught in headlights. Then 2 more eyes appeared beside it. And another. And another. 4 eyes. 6, 8. Elias wanted to look away, but one of the eyes blinked sideways like a reptile, and the grate rattled as something behind it scraped for space, trying to push through the narrow opening. A long, thin hand slipped between the metal bars. It wasn't human. It looked almost jointed wrong, too many knuckles bending backward. The teacher whispered for everyone to stay quiet. But a boy across the room let out a shaky sob, and the thing in the vent snapped its head toward the sound with impossible speed. It started pushing harder. The metal began to bend. Suddenly, the intercom blasted a new order, shouting for all students to relocate to the gym immediately. But the teacher shook her head violently, whispering, "That voice is not coming from the office." Elias agreed. The voice was wrong, too deep, too hollow, echoing as if spoken inside an empty room underground. Students argued in panicked whispers until a hand pounded on the classroom door. "Let me in! Please, let me in!" cried someone outside. Elias crawled closer to the door, pressing his ear to it. Recognizing the voice, Jared Holt, a student from another class. But Jared's voice trembled in a strange rhythm, like he was trying to mimic fear instead of actually feeling it. Leora shook her head frantically, mouthing, "Don't open!" But the teacher hesitated, debating whether saving a student was worth risking everyone else. When she unlocked the first latch, the voice outside changed. It dropped an octave. Then another. "Let me in, Elias." it growled, suddenly using his name even though Jared hardly knew him. Elias scrambled backward as the door handle twisted slowly, like someone gently testing its strength. The teacher snapped the lock shut again, and something outside scraped the door with fingernails, or claws. The scraping traveled downward until it reached the bottom of the door, where a shadow pooled unnaturally as if seeping from under the frame. The shadow rose and formed the shape of a face with hollow eyes, eyes that blinked open like ink swirling in water. Elias grabbed Leora as the shadow mouth whispered, "3 of you, 3 stories, 3 endings. Choose the door or the vent." And before anyone could move, the shadow unraveled like smoke and faded away. Silence returned, but only for a moment. The vent above them suddenly burst open, and everyone bolted toward the door despite the danger outside. The teacher cracked it open just enough to peek out, but the hallway was pitch black except for the emergency exit sign glowing red at the far end. They had no choice but to run. Elias held Leora's hand as they sprinted down the hallway, with cold air biting their skin and the sound of something crawling rapidly behind them. They reached the stairwell only to find the bottom floor flooded with darkness so thick it swallowed the light from their phones. Elias shined his flashlight into it and saw a silhouette standing perfectly still at the bottom of the stairs, facing the wrong direction, its head turned all the way around to look at them. It began climbing the stairs backward, using its hands and feet like a spider, joints cracking with every unnatural bend. The students screamed and ran to the second floor, but the creature was fast, chasing them with a clicking sound that echoed like teeth tapping together. They darted into the library, slamming the door behind them. Books fell off shelves as if pushed by invisible hands. The air smelled like damp soil and something old, something that didn't belong in a school. Elias noticed a trail of black dust leading deeper into the room. Leora pointed at a table where a single book lay open, its pages flipping on their own. Words rearranged themselves, forming a sentence. "It is already in the room." Elias turned slowly, scanning the shadows between the bookshelves. Something moved. Something tall. Something breathing. The lights flashed on for a moment, revealing the thing that had been chasing them, its limbs long and twisted, its face smooth and pale like stretched clay. No features except a wide mouth drawn across where its eyes should be. When the lights died again, it was suddenly on the other side of the room, closer. Elias and Leora crawled under a table as the creature searched, sniffing the air like it could smell fear. It moved silently except for the occasional sound of bones cracking back into place. Elias remembered something the shadow had whispered. 3 endings. He realized the creature wasn't hunting randomly. It wanted 3 students, 3 stories, 3 fears. Elias grabbed a broken metal leg from a damaged chair and whispered to Leora that they needed to distract it long enough to escape as a group. When the creature leaned down near their table, its mouth widening in anticipation, Elias threw the metal piece across the library. The loud clang echoed, and the creature lunged toward the sound. Elias pulled Leora to her feet, and the entire class rushed toward the emergency exit door at the back of the library. For the first time that night, the intercom used the real principal's voice, screaming, "Run now!" Elias didn't question it. They shoved open the door and burst into the parking lot just as the police stormed the building. The creature didn't follow. It simply stood in the darkness behind the doorway, its head tilting slowly, as if memorizing Elias's face for later. Days later, Ridgewater High reopened. But students whispered about the 3 eerie signs left inside. Black dust on every vent, deep claw marks on classroom 2A's door, and a message written inside the library on the wall in large, perfect letters. "I'll return when the siren calls." Elias knew it wasn't a threat. It was a promise. And he still hears footsteps at night, slow, dragging, uneven, like something searching for the next lockdown to finish its story.